Welcome to the AXA Engineers Podcast, episode 19. Today we're discussing a topic that's, well, it's quietly revolutionizing how civil engineering firms operate. We're talking about turning potential liabilities into really powerful competitive advantages. We're diving deep into the often overlooked world of geographical information systems, or GIS, and crucially, how a strategic approach to civil engineering outsourcing can actually redefine success for these firms. And hey, we really encourage you to follow us for more deep dives like this one, and definitely leave a comment with your thoughts on today's discussion. We'd love to hear from you.
It really is a fascinating area because, for too long, the conventional wisdom about managing vital functions like GIS, well, it's actually obscured the true costs. And the missed opportunities, there are quite a few. Today, we'll be uncovering how leading firms, especially those embracing strategic partnerships like the ones offered by AXA Engineers, are navigating these complexities. They're achieving, frankly, unparalleled efficiency and innovation. It's a pretty significant shift we're seeing.
Exactly. You might automatically think, okay, the biggest expenses for a civil engineering firm, it's got to be salaries, right? Or maybe that fancy cutting-edge software. But what if? What if the single most expensive part of your operation is actually something far less visible, something that sort of quietly erodes your profitability without ever showing up clearly on the balance sheet? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on these hidden burdens, these things that are silently eating away at project margins for so many firms. And then, importantly, we'll explore how a strategically aligned partner, and AXA Engineers really exemplifies this model, is providing a transformative alternative, one that empowers genuine growth and, honestly, unprecedented agility in today's competitive landscape. Okay, so let's really unpack this. Our research court says something pretty surprising. What often becomes the most expensive aspect of a civil engineering firm isn't necessarily the big, obvious stuff. It's often the cumulative, hidden expenses. Things like project delays, pervasive rework, especially when these issues stem from an undersupported or maybe just an inefficient in-house GIS process.
That makes sense because the focus is usually elsewhere, right?
Exactly. The initial focus in many firms is understandably on core engineering disciplines. That's the bread and butter. It's where the billable hours traditionally come from. But what our sources consistently highlight is that beneath this surface, persistent issues like fundamental data compatibility problems or just deeply ingrained, maybe outdated workflows, they act as these silent operational drags.
Not just minor irritations, then.
No, not at all. These aren't just minor annoyances. They are relentless forces, constantly chipping away at project margins, day after day.
And it's not just about, hiring one more specialist to maybe patch things up or getting the latest software update. What's truly fascinating here, and what the data shows, is how these are often systemic issues. If you approach them strategically, you can fundamentally transform what many firms see as a major liability.
Right, a cost center.
Exactly, a cost center, into a powerful, maybe even a decisive competitive advantage. It's a real shift from just reactive problem solving to proactive value creation.
That's a crucial distinction. And to really get the scale of this, think of it like that massive iceberg analogy. The visible part, the staff salaries, the software licenses, the office space, that's just the tip. It's what you see on your budget spreadsheet. But the vast, overwhelming majority of its mass, the true costs, lies hidden beneath the surface, silently impacting your bottom line, causing delays you might not even attribute to the right source.
And hindering innovation too, presumably.
Absolutely, subtly diminishing your firm's capacity for innovation. It's like carrying in this weight you don't even fully realize is there.
Indeed. And what our analysis consistently shows is how that ingrained conventional wisdom, well, sometimes it can be really misleading. Many civil engineering firms, they operate under this deeply held belief, right, that establishing and maintaining their own in-house GIS teams guarantees security and responsiveness.
Control. They want control.
Precisely. They view internal control over this critical spatial data as absolutely essential for maintaining proprietary knowledge, ensuring seamless project execution. And this conviction often leads them to make in-house GIS teams a standard, almost non-negotiable part of their structure. However, this perception, while it seems logical, it frequently obscures this complex web of escalating and often dramatically underestimated expenditures.
So the asset becomes a liability.
That's what we've seen in numerous cases. What starts as a carefully cultivated internal asset can, over time, become a compounding and, frankly, quite significant financial liability. The true financial burden, the full total cost of ownership, it extends far beyond those visible costs that look neat on a quarterly balance sheet. So this naturally leads us to a fundamental question. What exactly are these often unseen costs that can gradually turn an intended asset into a substantial liability?
That is the core question. And our sources paint a pretty startling picture of the true financial burden that can pile up for firms trying to manage GIS entirely internally. Let's break down these layers. We can start with the seemingly obvious costs and then maybe reveal their hidden multipliers. First up, the software. Okay, you've got significant upfront license fees. We're talking platforms like ArcGIS Enterprise from Esri or those comprehensive Autodesk suites for civil infrastructure. These aren't trivial investments. We're talking figures that can genuinely make your eyes water right off the bat.
Big numbers.
Big numbers. But the initial purchase, that's just the opening act. What often gets tragically overlooked are the substantial recurring annual maintenance fees. And these aren't optional extras. They are permanent line items in any budget. Absolutely necessary for tech support, software updates, security patches, keeping your systems running and compliant.
It's like a subscription you can't cancel.
Exactly. Imagine buying a high-performance machine for your business and then realizing you're locked into paying this steep fee year after year just to keep it current. Furthermore, our sources reveal how these fees inherently lock a firm into a specific software ecosystem. This severely limits flexibility. It makes it incredibly costly, maybe even prohibitive, to adapt to new tools or integrate alternatives without huge costs for data migration, retraining, the whole works.
Yeah, you're essentially creating this long-term technological and financial dependency.
You are. And it's worth noting that this dependency isn't just about the software itself, is it?
No, absolutely not. It's about the entire workflow you build around it, the talent you train specifically on it, the data stored in its potentially proprietary formats. This makes real innovation, or even just strategic pivots, incredibly challenging and expensive. It often leads to a kind of conservative, if it ain't broke, don't fix its mentality, even when better, more efficient solutions might be emerging elsewhere.
Which brings us neatly to another, arguably even more impactful aspect, what our sources are calling the human capital drain. Even if you manage to buy the most advanced GIS platforms, who's going to master them? Who ensures they're used to their full potential? This starts with the constant need for specialized training. Keeping your professionals proficient with rapidly evolving software, new data standards, best practices, drone mapping, advanced spatial analysis, you name it.
It's a moving target.
It absolutely is. You need constant, significant investment in their education and professional development. This isn't a one-time thing, it's a perpetual requirement. If you don't invest consistently, your team quickly falls behind, their skills stagnate, and your firm's capabilities diminish. You create internal bottlenecks, you miss opportunities, and compounding this challenge, the notoriously high turnover rates we see among GIS specialists in many in-house teams. When an experienced professional leaves, it introduces severe operational friction. Each departure means immediate recruitment costs job boards, headhunters,
The whole hiring process.
the whole 9 yards, significant hiring expenses, and then the extensive time needed to onboard new staff, get them up to speed. That can take months, maybe even a year before they're fully productive.
And all that lost knowledge.
Exactly. It creates this relentless cycle that disrupts project continuity. Teams constantly lose valuable institutional knowledge, hard-won expertise. You end up repeatedly solving the same complex problems you probably figured out before. This churn profoundly hinders the development of deep, advanced internal expertise and the ability to innovate. Imagine that revolving door where expertise just walks out.
And you have to rebuild it from scratch.
Again and again. It's exhausting and incredibly costly.
That point about institutional knowledge, it just can't be overstated, especially in GIS, which is so deeply tied to project history, unique regional data. When you lose that, efficiency is constantly compromised. Teams spend precious time reinventing the wheel instead of pushing the boundaries.
And perhaps the most insidious costs, the ones that truly hide in plain sight, often arise from these operational inefficiencies. Our sources highlight that a significant portion of an in-house GIS team's time can be eaten up by non-billable tasks, and the primary culprit, data compatibility issues. This is a colossal hidden drain.
Ah, the data wrangling.
The data wrangling. The challenge of integrating disparate data formats, converting between GIS shapefiles, CAD's DW files, BIM's IFC format, it creates this pervasive, relentless operational drag that most firms really underestimate. And let's just dig into why this is so complex for a second. It's not just different file extensions, it's fundamentally different data structures, different purposes. GIS shapefiles, they're optimized for spatial analysis, attribute data, linking geographic features parcel of land, say to information like soil type, elevation, zoning, ownership.
Right, the what and where with lots of detail.
Exactly. CAD's DWG, that's a drafting format. Precise geometric lines, arcs, objects. For detailed 2D blueprints or 3D design models.
Yeah.
And BIM's IFC, that's an open standard for building information models. Object-oriented, carrying rich data about every component of pipe's material, its installation date, maintenance history.
So 3 different languages, essentially.
Pretty much. And manually translating between these paradigms, resolving coordinate system differences, reattributing features, it can literally consume days of highly paid engineering time on a single, moderately complex project. This tedious manual work, it introduces errors at every step, inevitably leads to delays. Imagine hours spent manually cleaning and aligning LiDAR scans.
Which are incredibly detailed.
Incredibly detailed. Or satellite imagery with existing project data. These are hours not spent on value-generating analysis, not spent on innovative design or complex problem solving. This directly, significantly erodes project profitability. It makes it a really crucial point for understanding the immense value of strategic civil engineering outsourcing.
It's off of that invisible work, isn't it? The necessary but non-core tasks that truly drain the resources. When a highly skilled GIS professional is spending their day fixing coordinate system conflicts instead of doing advanced spatial analysis, that's not just a lost hour. It's a lost opportunity for innovation and a direct hit on the project's bottom line.
And finally, there's what we're calling the capital expenditure trap and the almost inevitable technological stagnation that follows. This in-house model is incredibly capital intensive. It demands significant upfront investment, not just software, but high-performance hardware too. Powerful workstations, dedicated servers for massive data sets, specialized plotters, big displays.
It adds up quickly.
It really does. And it's not a one-and-done purchase. This tech depreciates rapidly. And with the pace of innovation, it needs frequent, costly upgrades just to prevent performance bottlenecks, ensure compatibility. If you fail to reinvest consistently, you get technological lag. You're relying on outdated, inefficient infrastructure that slows everything down, hampers your team. And over time, this internal model almost inevitably leads to technological stagnation. The sheer investment required to adopt next-gen tools like AI-driven predictive analytics.
Which could be game-changing.
Absolutely. Forecasting infrastructure needs, identifying high-risk areas based on historical data, or migrating complex legacy workflows to scalable cloud platforms, it becomes prohibitive for all but the largest enterprises. This hesitation, or maybe inability, to innovate places firms at a severe competitive disadvantage against more agile competitors who are embracing these technologies. It's like trying to win a Formula One race with a car that's 2 generations old.
And if we connect all this to the bigger picture, model the total cost of ownership, the TCO, for even a small in-house GIS team over, say, 5 years. It really reveals the full, often shocking financial picture. What our studies consistently find is that the indirect expenditures lost productivity from data wrangling, staff turnover disrupting workflow, the opportunity cost of using outdated tech. These often dramatically surpass the direct costs, the salaries and software fees on the balance sheet.
So the hitting part of the iceberg is much bigger.
Much bigger. These aren't minor expenses, they're systemic financial leakage points, often overlooked in standard accounting. But they manifest directly. Reduced project margins, diminished capacity for complex projects, weakened competitiveness in securing high-value contracts. So, to reiterate, the hidden costs of in-house GIS, they go way beyond salaries and software. They encompass these systemic drains from inefficient workflows, tech lag, staff opportunity costs, quietly siphoning a firm's budget year after year. Understanding the full scope of these accumulated expenditures is the absolutely essential first step, which then leads us to that crucial question. If recognizing these limitations is step one, what's the strategic next step for firms looking to truly thrive?
Okay, here's where the paradigm really shifts. For firms recognizing those profound limitations we've just spelled out, our sources consistently point to strategic partnership as an incredibly effective, transformative alternative. This is precisely where a specialized partner like AXA Engineers comes into sharp focus.
No.
Engaging with a firm like AXA Engineers can fundamentally transform GIS from being that persistent, resource-draining cost center into a powerful, dynamic, strategic asset.
So it's not just about offloading work.
Not at all. I mean, it certainly helps with workload management, but more importantly, it provides immediate, seamless access to a vast pool of highly experienced GIS professionals, cutting-edge software licenses, advanced technologies, all without the burden of significant upfront capital investment, or that crushing weight of long-term overhead that comes with managing an in-house team. Think of it like this. Let's expand on that earlier analogy. Imagine you're a pro athlete and suddenly a world-class training facility appears in your backyard. Top-tier coaches, latest equipment, sports psychologists,
It's everything you need.
everything ready for immediate use whenever you need it. But you don't buy a single piece of equipment. You don't pay for maintenance, upgrades, or staff salaries unless you're actively training. That's the kind of immediate, high-value access, the instant scalability, and the freedom from capital burden that a strategic partnership offers. You get peak performance capabilities, but only when you need them, on demand.
That analogy perfectly illustrates a fundamental constraint of in-house teams, their fixed capacity. It creates this persistent dilemma. During slow periods, those salaried teams are underutilized. A direct cost, no corresponding revenue. Idle assets draining resources. Conversely, when peak project loads hit large infrastructure bids, multiple complex developments, the same teams get completely overwhelmed, creating bottlenecks, delaying critical activities, jeopardizing deadlines.
You might even have to turn down work.
Exactly. Firms might have to turn down lucrative opportunities simply because they lack the immediate internal capacity. This operational rigidity severely limits a firm's growth and agility. It makes it hard to respond effectively to market opportunities or scale up rapidly. It's like navigating a fast-flowing river in a boat built only for calm water.
So how does a partner like AXA Engineers specifically counter this inefficiency, this rigidity, through civil engineering outsourcing? Well, our sources highlight a really brilliant solution. Outsourcing to a specialized partner like AXA Engineers introduces a genuinely flexible and scalable model. It directly addresses this operational rigidity head-on. Firms gain this remarkable ability to instantly expand their GIS capabilities dramatically for large-scale urban planning needing complex spatial modeling, extensive data integration, and then, just as easily, scale back down for routine analyses, smaller projects, or during quieter periods.
Pay for what you use, essentially.
Precisely. This model ensures you pay only for the exact level of expertise and resources needed at any given time, eliminating that huge financial burden of maintaining permanent, often underutilized staff during slow times. Imagine having the power to instantly expand or contract your GIS team based purely on project demand, without the hiring headaches, recruitment costs, onboarding time, morale issues.
None of that churn.
None of it. This tactical flexibility empowers civil engineering firms to pursue a much broader, more ambitious range of projects. Small residential developments, huge regional infrastructure planning, even international bids, without ever being constrained by internal GIS capacity. It's about being lean when you need to be, powerful when opportunity strikes, a real competitive edge.
And what truly stands out here is how this model also unlocks those sophisticated, advanced capabilities, the ones that might otherwise remain completely out of reach for many firms, because of the cost and specialized expertise required, like we talked about. Take, for instance, using powerful tools like Autodesk InfoWorks. For a firm operating traditionally, using InfoWorks for early-stage conceptual design, rich visualization, that often remains a niche activity. Reserved for a few specialists, needs expensive licenses, dedicated training.
A special project kind of thing.
Exactly. But when partnering with AXA Engineers, its use becomes a standard, integrated part of the project workflow, not a special, costly undertaking. So you're not just getting basic mapping, you're gaining access to cutting-edge analytical and visualization power. Imagine integrating complex GIS datasets, hydrological networks, soil composition maps, geological surveys, zoning restrictions directly into a dynamic, intelligent 3D model of your project area. And it's not static. This seamless integration allows rapid evaluation of multiple design alternatives, identifying conflicts, optimizing materials, pinpointing environmental issues before significant engineering hours are invested. It's proactive. AXA Engineers routinely incorporate such powerful tools and data integration as part of their integrated services, delivering clarity, confidence, foresight during those critical, often ambiguous, early project phases. This is truly where strategic civil engineering outsourcing with a specialized partner shines brightest, providing not just access to cutting-edge tools, but also the deep collective expertise to wield them effectively, giving your firm a decisive competitive edge from day one.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly compelling in theory. It really does. But what does it actually translate to in practice, in the real world? Our deep dive into industry case studies provides some really compelling examples, how AXA Engineers delivers demonstrable, quantifiable results, turning complex challenges into strategic wins. Let's look at the municipal pipeline upgrade case. This scenario really illustrates the impact. In one specific instance, a municipal client was undertaking this monumental task, a comprehensive upgrade of an aging, sprawling pipeline network. Huge pressure. They needed more than just repairs. They needed advanced asset management, sophisticated risk analysis to effectively prioritize work across this vast system, far beyond fix it when it
A
breaks.
huge undertaking.
Massive. An outsourced GIS team from AXA engineers stepped in. They didn't just map pipes, they leveraged high-res utility records, detailed maintenance histories, real-time sensor data, environmental data, everything. With this, they constructed a truly comprehensive digital twin of the entire network, not just a map, a dynamic, living virtual model. This digital twin integrated real-time operational data with predictive analytics, driven by advanced AI. This allowed them to run complex what-if simulations.
It's like forecasting failures.
Exactly. If a leak occurs here, how does it impact pressure district-wide during peak hours? Or, based on usage, material degradation, historical failures, which specific segments are likely to fail in the next 5 years? What's the optimal time to intervene? This level of granular analysis, predictive capability, it was fundamentally beyond the scope of a typical small internal team. Lacking the specialized software, deep data integration skills, advanced modeling expertise, it truly transformed how the municipality managed its critical infrastructure, moving from reactive repairs to proactive, intelligent asset management, saving millions in potential emergency costs and service disruptions.
It's a prime example of how this kind of outsourcing transcends mere cost cutting. It becomes a strategic enabler. And if we connect this to broader applications, professional GIS civil engineering outsourcing with partners like AXA engineers makes comprehensive site analysis readily accessible. For any firm, regardless of their current internal GIS capacity, these advanced capabilities allow seamless integration of critical factors: detailed topographic suitability, environmental regulations, geological stability, infrastructure, accessibility, utilities, roads, transit.
So, a much more holistic view early on.
A much more holistic view right at the beginning. This deep analysis fundamentally optimizes the entire planning and design phase, transforms raw, often disparate data into actionable, unified intelligence from the start. This proactive approach significantly mitigates risks, identifies conflicts early, and most importantly, prevents those incredibly costly redesigns and rework orders that inevitably crop up later if these analyses aren't done thoroughly and accurately at the beginning. It's about foresight, precision, efficiency, reducing uncertainties, ensuring project success.
And it's not just about what you can do with the data, powerful as that is. It's also, crucially, about how effectively you can communicate those insights. Our sources highlight that professional GIS civil engineering outsourcing enables vastly superior decision-making by translating extraordinarily complex spatial data into clear, intuitive visual analyses, and, perhaps most importantly, into impactful, stakeholder-ready presentations.
Moving beyond dense technical maps.
Exactly. Instead of bombarding busy decision makers or stakeholders with maps only a specialist understands, specialized teams like those at AXA Engineers produce compelling 3D visualizations, interactive web maps, concise summary reports. These communicate the why behind design choices, highlight risks, showcase solutions in an easily understandable, impactful way. It dramatically improves comprehension, accelerates approvals. So, what does this all mean for civil engineering firms? This strategic shift isn't just about cutting costs, though that's a huge benefit. It is about gaining a decisive, sustainable competitive advantage through advanced data utilization, presenting insights with clarity, empowering better, faster decisions, fundamentally elevating your firm's standing.
The paradigm for GIS management in civil engineering is, without a doubt, undergoing a profound shift. It's moving distinctly from that traditional model of internal ownership with all its burdens to one of dynamic, strategic partnership. This isn't just a trend, it's a structural evolution, driven by increasing project complexity and the relentless demand for greater efficiency, accuracy, innovation. A truly successful partnership, particularly with a firm as experienced as AXA Engineers, begins not with a simple transaction, but with a meticulous, collaborative needs assessment.
Understanding the specific goals.
Precisely. This crucial first step ensures their capabilities align perfectly with your project goals, your firm's workflows, your business objectives, establishing trust, transparency, a path for continuous improvement. The long-term advantage experience with partners like AXA Engineers really transforms these service providers. They move from being mere vendors to integral, indispensable members of your project delivery teams, not just external resources. They become a seamless extension of your firm's core capabilities, working hand in hand to achieve ambitious goals.
Absolutely. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, we're left with a profound question, posed by our sources, one that every firm in the civil engineering space needs to consider seriously. maybe even introspectively. The critical question, as our research underscores, is not whether an elite, comprehensive, in-house GIS team can be afforded, given all those hidden costs we discussed. Rather, the truly profound question is, can a firm afford the operational drag, the hidden financial drain, the technological stagnation, the missed project opportunities that inevitably come with failing to leverage a specialized strategic partner like AXA Engineers? This isn't just about saving money, it's about unlocking potential, achieving an operational agility, gaining a competitive edge you might not have even realized was possible. If you're ready to transform your GIS capabilities, eliminate those hidden drags on profitability, and secure a significant advantage through strategic civil engineering outsourcing, well, it's time to talk to AXA Engineers. For more insights and to explore how AXA Engineers can elevate your projects and redefine what's possible for your firm, be sure to follow us. And consider reaching out to AXA Engineers directly. We genuinely love hearing your thoughts, so please don't forget to comment below. Let us know what you think.